Everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 11 and compare it against the iPhone 12 mini and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Now, in this day and age, it's very interesting because both these phones are slightly different, but they're still very good, they're still very capable, so let's go and see how they compare. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both of these, the iPhone 11 is a noticeably bigger phone than the iPhone 12 mini. The iPhone 11 came out in 2019, and it was a good phone when it first came out. I'm still like a fan of this phone for sure, but I will tell you the last couple of years haven't, aged this phone crazy well, but it's still a very good phone in my opinion. They're getting that big 6.1-inch Retina IPS panel on the front of it, and it's a good-looking display. I think it's a good-looking phone for the most part. The display on it though isn't that amazing. It's a fairly outdated panel, as you can probably suspect, but it's good. You still have the notch up top, big bezels around it, and that's kind of it. There's not really any standout features with this particular display. With the iPhone 12 mini, you could probably say the same thing, but the thing I like about the 12 mini is that it is a smaller phone, but you're getting a better display. So here it's like a 5.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. It's a very good looking panel. I've been a fan of this screen since it first came out, so I'm still a big fan of this particular phone. And in 2024, both these displays hold up fairly well, but the iPhone 12 mini holds up way better than the iPhone 11. You're also getting things like the notch up top, which still looks good, a little bit of bezel around the entire display. But I'll definitely tell you, the iPhone 12 mini's display looks better. It just happens to be in a little bit of a smaller phone and a form factor than something like the iPhone 11. So that's kind of one big thing to kind of keep in mind there too. Now, in terms of the rest of the build quality, I mean, you can really just see how much smaller the iPhone 12 mini is compared to the iPhone 11. The 12 mini is significantly smaller than this particular phone. You are getting this flat side on the iPhone 12 mini, which I think is better than the iPhone 11s. So with the iPhone 11, you're basically getting this curved display, like curved side to it. The iPhone 12 mini, on the other hand, is basically this flat side. And take it as you will, but that's kind of one thing here. On the bottom, you're getting these lightning ports on both. So having lightning is great. I like USB-C more, but having lightning is okay. And this one, they both basically have lightning right here, which is really, really good. On the backside, you're essentially getting dual camera setups on both of them. So this is great. There's only one generation of difference between these two. And I've always felt like both these cameras were very similar to one another. And this is basically no exception. Both of these are fairly similar when it comes down to it from the camera side of things. Both of them have glass backs, the standard glass backs. Both of them have wireless charging, IP certification. The 12 mini does have that MagSafe capability, which is right here, which is a very nice touch. I actually like having MagSafe a lot, and this one is giving you a little bit more capability there rather than something like the iPhone 11. So I will definitely tell you on the outside, you're definitely getting very good phones on both, but I would probably tell you that the iPhone 12 mini is probably the one that is going to be the better one, at least for a majority of people from the exterior perspective. If we're talking about like the hardware on the outside, the iPhone 12 mini is definitely giving you the overall better one on the outside than something like the iPhone 11. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, from software, and longevity, you're probably going to be getting that longer lasting phone from something like the iPhone 12 mini. The iPhone 11 is probably still going to be here for, a couple more years, at least until like iOS 18 is done. So that's probably going to be end of 2025 or early 2020, like mid 2025. That's when this phone is probably going to get discontinued. If it gets discontinued this year, that's going to be a massive deal. But I doubt that's going to happen. I doubt Apple will do something like that. So for now, both these phones are still supported, which I'm very, very good with. The 12 mini though is probably going to be the one that's going to have that longer lifespan. So this one has a newer chipset, more RAM, not more RAM, but newer chipset. This one's probably going to last longer than something like the iPhone 11. So that kind of covers it up there too. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 12 mini has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM. Where the iPhone 11 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background. So let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. About the same thing. Music 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think the iPhone 11 was faster there. What was that about? Let's go and get into their app stores 3, 2, 1. So this one is not connected to the internet. This one is. I don't know why that ends up happening. It's very, very weird. Clock 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Mail 3, 2, 1. Okay, messed that one up completely. Got to here. Photos 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing too. Camera 3, 2, 1. Take a photo. Okay, both of them kind of took a bit of time. Opening up that photo took about the same time though. Getting into some third-party applications. Let's go and get in here. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, this game is not that massive of a game, but it's always a good one to test. And you can see that we are getting into the loading panel on both. The iPhone 12 mini did get into it faster overall, though, than something like the iPhone 11. So even though it's a smaller phone, you're getting a faster phone from something like the iPhone 12 mini, which is something that I actually like seeing a lot. Hopping out of these two, let's go and get into something like Subway Surfers, which I don't even have here, which is very weird. How do I not have Subway? Oh, I do. 3, 2, 1. Now this game, again, not anything crazy, but a lot of people play this game. The 12 mini stuck on that Subway Surfers panel for a long time, and they both have this like different type of panel that came up. But it was faster on the iPhone 12 mini to get us that panel. So it's very, very weird though. There's a lot of flip-flopping going on here. Now we can get into something like the Files application. 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to get into Home. 3, 2. Let's skip that. Let's go and get into something like Stack, which I also have here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think something like the iPhone 11 may have been a little bit faster there. And I don't know what to make of this because there's a lot of like weirdness going on. So for one, I feel like the iPhone 11 is supposed to be slower, and it was slower sometimes. But the 12 mini looked like it was glitchier. I feel like there's more glitches going on for something like the iPhone 12 mini over something like the iPhone 11, but the iPhone 11 did glitch up there a little bit. So I'm not really too sure what to make of it. I will tell you though, as far as I can tell, both these phones are fairly solid. There's a lot of good stuff going on for both of these devices, which I'm very, very happy about. So this in and of itself is a very, very good thing going on for both these phones. But I'll probably tell you the iPhone 11 is probably the better one. But I'll tell you the iPhone 12 mini is the better one, not the 11. The 12 mini is the better one here. Now, in terms of the camera side, this is another interesting thing between both of them. So both of them are giving you pretty solid cameras when it kind of comes down to it. So you're getting dual camera setups on both wide and ultra-wide camera sensors, which is amazing. Having all these types of lenses is awesome, and I'm a big fan of the way these lenses look. Now, with both of them, you are getting almost the same type of capability. 4K 60 on the front and the back, the cameras, like they're all pretty solid for the most part. With something like the iPhone 11, I'm a big fan of this particular lens. As I've said before, I feel like something like the iPhone 11's camera is very good. There's really not a lot to complain about here for the most part. So this type of camera, I will tell you, it's a good camera for the most part. 0.5x zoom here, you're getting 5x zoom on the standard part. Video mode, slow mode, I didn't mean to record, time lapse, panorama mode, portrait mode. There's a lot of good stuff here that I actually like a lot about this type of phone. Is it perfect? No, but there's no camera that's perfect, it doesn't really exist. So it's a pretty good camera for how old this phone is. The 12 mini's camera was very similar to that type of lens, if I'm being honest. I feel like I've always felt like something like the iPhone 12 mini's camera and the 11 camera was very similar. Maybe there was some improvement, but it was basically almost the same thing. Getting video mode, slow mode, time lapse, portrait mode, panorama mode. There's a lot of good stuff here, and I'm a big fan of this particular camera too. They're just both almost the same as that camera. Like I said, there may have been small differences here and there, but for the most part, they were very, very similar when it comes down to it. So to kind of sum it up, what I'll definitely tell you is, I definitely do think both these phones are very interesting. And I say that to say, because the iPhone 12 mini, it's a great phone. I like this phone a lot. And it's probably the better phone overall. Like, I'd probably recommend more people to buy something like the 12 mini because it has a newer chipset, better performance for the most part. It's going to last longer, and it's going to give you just the better performing phone probably overall. But the iPhone 11 is good because if you want a cheaper phone with a bigger size, this is an option for you. And I do like this phone because of that type of capability. The fact that it isn't really like the most expensive phone of all time. It's fairly cheap. It's still supported with software. And if you want a good phone that you don't really need to take care of too much, this is a very, very solid option from that perspective. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.